It's Mary on the run. It's Mary, Mary on the run. It's Mary, Mary on the run. It's Mary, Mary on the run. Mary on the run.
So good afternoon, Kelly. Thanks for
afternoon.
joining me on Mary on the Run. Would you introduce yourself to the audience and tell us where you are and a little bit more about what you're doing?
Yep. So I'm Kelly Jennings. I was in Trinity Hall's class of 2017. I'm currently out at Drexel University in Philadelphia. I'm a senior. I'm graduating just around Labor Day, so after Drexel's summer term.
Oh, wow.
I'm a real estate management and development major. I'm in the process of getting my real estate license in New Jersey right now. So
Wow, that is fantastic, Kelly.
Yeah.
So I guess you'll be able to be self-employed for sure. And as always, your independence and be able to manage what you're doing. That's wonderful. What an interesting degree. I didn't realize that was an option. So tell me a little bit about your experience at Drexel.
It's been interesting. There's been a lot of ups and downs for sure.
Okay.
College was definitely a little bit harder than I was anticipating, not just academically, but socially and
Mhm.
everything to do. Like I'm not big on Philly. I don't love Philly. So being out here for 4 years, it hasn't been the best. I've been going home a lot, especially with COVID and everything.
Mhm.
I'm back here now because I signed a lease on an apartment before COVID happened, so I was locked in it. So I've been back and forth since August.
Well, it sounds like even though it wasn't maybe the experience that you had hoped for, and wouldn't be on the top of your list, that you've made the best of it.
Yeah.
And what did you do to make the best of it? Like other than going home and
So I found a great group of friends out here.
Okay.
And also my brothers both went here. My older brother, he's graduated already, and my younger brother didn't really like Drexel either. So he actually just transferred to Monmouth over the summer.
Okay.
But I hung out with them a lot. So to give me that feel of home, even though I was still out here.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised, Kelly. I mean, Philadelphia, fortunately, is not too far from New Jersey, so that
Yeah.
probably was a big help. But you were always close to home and
Yeah.
close to your brothers, so that's interesting. Have you continued to ride? Because for those tuning in today, Kelly was a very big equestrian here at Trinity Hall, one of our first.
Yeah. So to Drexel, you have a summer after your freshman year, in between your freshman and sophomore year. So I was home for 3 months during that, but then after that, you don't have summers anymore at Drexel. You're in classes or you're on co-op year round. So after that summer, after my freshman year, it was very hard for me to continue to ride, balancing academics and a social life out here, and then driving an hour and a half to go home to ride. It was very difficult. I wasn't riding as much, and we decided to sell my horse. But when I do graduate, I do plan on moving back to the area, and I do want to start riding again.
Yeah, well, the good thing about riding is it's a lifelong. It really is a lifelong activity, and you can ride, really for forever, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that you'll continue it at some point, but I surely understand because Drexel, people don't realize that it's a year-round program.
Yeah.
And going to school year-round,
It's a lot.
So what could we have done differently to better support you in making this transition to college?
I don't really think it was anything that Trinity Hall could have done. It was just me personally. I don't know if I was ready to just like up and leave home entirely. And like you said, I've always kind of been a homebody. So living, even though I'm only an hour and a half away, it was very tough. And it's also such a different environment being in the city versus being in Monmouth County.
Right.
So.
And being a little bit in the country.
Yeah.
It does matter, and it almost doesn't matter how far away you are because the reality is you're away. You're away. Well, I'm glad to know that it's working out. I'm glad that's wonderful that you're going to be graduating for Labor Day and you'll have one more summer to go. So and it's good that you're back at school. Tell me a little bit about some of the activities that you were able to be involved in there.
So the big thing with Drexel is the co-op program. When I initially came into Drexel, I was a health science major, which is a 4-year program with one co-op. And after my freshman year, I hated it. So I decided to switch, and I was in the business school.
Okay.
And then being in the business school, I was then on a 5-year track with 3 co-ops. And it was an interesting experience for sure. Not at all what I wanted to do with my life. I was a human resources and organizational development co-op for a construction company in Wilmington, Delaware.
Okay.
And it was a good experience for sure. I had to commute every day. And the company was amazing, and my bosses were amazing. But I know that I'd never want to work in human resources for my life. And then I was supposed to have my second co-op this past April to September, but it got canceled because of COVID, obviously.
Right.
And so what I decided to do was, instead of trying to get like another position that would be online, I just decided to nix the other 2 co-ops and take classes and graduate earlier than anticipated. Because if I left my co-ops, I would be graduating in June of 2022.
So you're going to be on campus again this summer. So that's the 2 on campus.
Yeah. So instead of doing more co-ops, I'm just taking classes now until I graduate in September.
That's interesting. Of course, those co-op programs are wonderful because they really give you a firsthand experience, not unlike we did with our Beyond the Hole. What did you do for Beyond the Hole?
There was a like a therapeutic riding center out in, I think it was Monroe, and I helped out there.
Okay, so that was more in keeping with your riding experience and your love of horses. And then the human resources, you thought, the health sciences and the human resources, you thought that was an area. That's wonderful that you were able to figure out that wasn't where you wanted to be. So what draws you to the field of real estate and development, marketing, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so a couple years ago, my parents decided that they wanted to get into investment properties, and they actually bought the old Sunnyside Deli, which is on the corner of Sunnyside and Everett in Lincroft. And it's like a retail space downstairs and an apartment upstairs. So they're getting income from both residential and commercial there. And that was really interesting to me. And my parents are also really good friends with Lillian LaRusso, Nicole's mother, who is in real estate. And after my co-op got canceled in April for this year, she suggested that I take a real estate class. She thought I might be good at it. And so I wasn't doing anything else. So I said, okay. And I took it and I really liked it. And now I'm in the process of getting my license for that. So then I can work around like Monmouth County doing like real estate sales, but then also potentially get into like a real estate development firm and have a career out of that too.
Yeah, and I have to think with the impact of COVID on real estate that there's going to be some changes here, and you're going to be primed to move into that direction. So yeah. I think that's a great field to be in. I'm sure that you're going to really enjoy it. It'll give you that independence. So tell me, what messages would you share with the girls that are here now?
I think mainly when you go into college, everybody always thinks that you have to know what you want to do when you enter that school your first day of freshman year. You don't need to know what exactly you want to do. I changed my major. I'm on my 3rd major, and I just changed to real estate in May of last year. And I'm graduating this year. So you don't always have to know exactly the field that you want to go into when you enter as a freshman. You have plenty of time to figure it out.
And that's a pretty impressive understanding, a pretty, like that you got to that point, because many girls do feel like if they're in one place, they have to continue, but that you were able to have that freedom of choice and that freedom of experience. I'm really pleased and very proud of you. Of course, it's so great to connect with you. So in these last few months, what are some goals that you have for these last few months at school?
Just to finish strong. Really, and to just graduate. I really just want to graduate at this point.
You want to graduate and you want to get out there and get working.
Yeah
because
that was one thing over COVID. I was getting really impatient with just the whole school process, and I was while I was in the process of getting my real estate license, I was interning with Mrs. LaRusso. So I was helping her with stuff, and she was showing me how to do certain things so that when I actually do start working, I'll be better prepared. And doing all of that, I was ready to just get out of school, graduate, and get a job.
What's wonderful is to hear that you've really utilized your networks from Trinity Hall in regards to, you know, one of your classmates' parents, that she's been available to help you. I think that's an important message that I always want to get out to all of our graduates. If I had been able to visit you, so my hope was to visit you on campus and to really sit down and have a little bit longer conversation, but it would have been to encourage you to network and to remember that Trinity Hall is this, you know, this place, and I like to say it's your home. It's one of your homes for sure, but it's also a place that you can continue to rely on. And so that extends not only to the faculty here and to the students, but to our families. And we've really developed this strong connection here of community. So I am so happy that Lillian is out there helping you. And of course, you know, she hasn't been a real estate agent for that long.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was our freshman year at Trinity Hall when she started to get that ball rolling.
I would agree with you, but it's a great career. I'm happy for you, Kelly, and I so appreciate that you coming on today. Is there any parting remark that you want to make? Something I haven't asked you that you're dying to tell me?
I just wanted to say congratulations on your retirement, and my parents also wanted me to tell you that too.
Well, you give my best to your parents. You know, as we go through life, it's important to embrace each stage, and I surely have enjoyed being here at Trinity Hall and getting to know, you know, the fine young people that I have like yourself. So again, I thank you so much for being here. Stay in touch. Now I know who to go to for real estate, but I think you're thinking bigger than just residential.
Yeah.
Which is great. And keep those big dreams in your forefront and keep working hard. And there's also going to be something special coming up that I hope that you'll consider joining me on. Good to see you. God bless and stay well.
Thank you too.
It's Mary on the run. It's Mary.